Automations of tasks in an agency sound cool, right? How can an agency owner introduce automation that can result in saving time and make more money in the process? Derek Schmidt had a similar question while running his web agency, and he answered it himself by building his own CRM solution. So here's Derek to share his passion for automation and much more. So let's start and welcome Derek. Hi, Derek. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. So it's like early morning for you. First thing you're doing today is recording a podcast.
Yep. It's 9 a.m. on a Monday. So just got to work.
Okay, cool. So before we begin, why don't you give a quick introduction about your online life, like what you've been doing in the online world for last 5, 10, 15, 20, depends.
Sure. Yeah. So I was going to school to actually be a music teacher in 2011, but that was around the same time that I started my creative agency. So we started with graphic design, website design, and website development, mainly in WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
And then over the years, as we were growing that company, we kind of pivoted a little bit more towards digital marketing, so search engine optimization and paid advertising, just because it was predictable recurring revenue. While growing that company, we experienced some pain points, as you mentioned, that we tried to solve ourselves. So we built an internal system that we mainly used for about a year before releasing it. And that allowed us to kind of consolidate all the different applications we were using, as well as automate certain features.
Okay, so let's start. And I'm going to start with a quote or something that you mentioned in the prep document that in 2014, as the agency was scaling, I ran into organizational barrier where I needed to have my business information and processes in one place. Our team was wasting a lot of time navigating, updating information across different apps like CRMs, project management, proposals, invoicing. The cost was starting to eat away our bottom line. Now, isn't this so true even today for a lot of new and older agencies?
I think so. I think a lot of people think their only option is they have to use these different applications. And once you get past the free tier and you start paying for it, it becomes really expensive.
Yeah, because using different apps, not just you have to log into, and there's no the one app won't talk with another, so you have like data management in every different app that you are managing, right?
Yeah, and you're updating that information in more than one place. So I just read something the other day. There's 1,440 minutes in a day. You can always make more money and get more money back, but you're never going to get more time.
Yeah.
So if you're spending a majority of your time just doing data entry or updating information across a series of applications as a business owner, especially one that charges hourly, that's not an efficient way to operate.
So besides using different apps and programs, what were other organizational problems that did not allow an efficient flow of work of things within an agency, and also made you go with the automation route?
Yeah, so from an administrative standpoint, we would drop the ball on maybe some leads that we had, new proposals or new estimates out for. We'd forget to follow up, or we'd forget to set reminders for certain things that happen. So when we developed the workflow automation engine, because we had this integrated feature set, it made it really easy to define workflows based on if this, then that logic, similar to what you'd expect from Zapier. You have a trigger and then you have a series of actions. So working with our own internal system, for example, as we launched that product, we were able to create a workflow that said, as soon as a lead is converted to a client, send them this onboarding welcome email, and then create a project from this set of project templates, right? And once that project was marked as complete, for example, then we would send an invoice to the client automatically, and we would send a follow-up email requesting a survey. So this was all fully automated. And how that really helped as far as our bottom line is I wasn't required to hire that position, where you may have like an assistant or somebody doing that for you. We were able to save, excuse me, we were able to save about $40,000 a year by not having to hire that position on.
So how does that work on a practical level? Say, for example, you get a lead for, say, a person wanting a new website. So how does that lead goes into your system and, then progresses on different stages, which is automated and no human touch is involved, at least till specific stage?
Sure. So because everything is based around templates, the first thing
Okay.
you do in our application is create a project template
Mhm.
for a new website, right? So you've got your different stages of the website design and development process.
A new prospect would contact you, say, via your contact form or, via email, and that information gets automatically fed in your CRM.
Correct. So you'd also have a proposal template.
Okay.
So the whole workflow would be we allow you to create custom forms and embed it on your website.
Okay.
So the way it lays out is somebody would fill out the form on your website. It will automatically create the proposal for you in Swell, pre-populated with their information.
Mhm.
And then when you convert them to a client, that's when the project is then generated, and then the other series of workflows kick in.
Cool. So it's all about the form content, and that form content get matches with the templates that are already there, and the whole layout is set up automatically, right?
Exactly.
Now, just to solve your own problem, you started building the CRM that we're talking about, Swell system, right? Now,
Mhm.
which obviously became a standalone product down the line. Now, was that product the main goal or from the beginning itself, or it just happened naturally?
Uh, a combination of both. I won't lie. We were looking at ways to explore recurring revenue and kind
Okay.
of building the valuation of the agency up. But what ended up happening was as we decided to launch Swell systems to the public,
Mhm.
we created a secondary company, so a software as a service company. But we leveraged the agency for design, development, and marketing. But Swell is its own brand and its own company.
Now you spent almost like 2 years building and refining Swell system before it went live for public to, use it. Now,
Yes.
what was that process like, making improvements with continuous feedback? Like, I'm sure it would have been the hectic add-on thing, like, oh, we missed this one. Oh, we need to change this one.
Yeah, it was pretty painful because it was just me building it for about a year and a half to 2 years. And what ended up happening was I built it in CodeIgniter, and then I ended up getting probably halfway done with it, ended up throwing everything away, rebuilt it again in CodeIgniter. I had it to a point where I was pretty comfortable with it, but as I was talking to other developers, they told me about Laravel framework.
Mm-hmm.
And Laravel is kind of the equivalent of what WordPress is for websites.
Yep.
Very big community. And CodeIgniter wasn't very well supported or isn't anymore. So I threw it all away again and I rebuilt it this time in Laravel. So it went through about 3 different iterations. And we kind of used it internally before letting anybody else in for a little while to try to find any bugs or features that we missed. And then we opened it up to a closed beta group and started receiving all kinds of feedback, bugs, new features, or making certain features better. So I think what we have today is a pretty solid platform of some pretty common used features.
Awesome. And I'm going to mention you again here. Like you mentioned that because we use Swell at our agency Design Loud, we were able to save the agency at least 8 hours per week and an additional $50,000 a year. Now, which were few areas of improvement that led to this time saving and making more money in the process?
Sure. At the time, I'm a big reader, so I was reading books like E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber and Profit First. And most of these books generally tell you to build systems and processes, almost like you're growing a franchise business that you can pick up and sell, and it would still function and operate as the same business it was, or you can set up several locations. So even if you don't plan to franchise out, that was what I was going for as far as the goal. So within Swell, what allowed us to get to 8 hours per week and about $40,000-$50,000 per year was the timing. Essentially, as we were building these systems and processes, and we had this integrated system, it made it very easy to create a standardized process, for example, for what happens when a new lead comes in or a new website is sold. And again, because I didn't have to hire that, expert level position at $40,000-$50,000 a year, I was able to hire essentially a virtual assistant that said, when our sales team sells a website, create a project using this project template, or just have it fully automated and eliminate the VA altogether. So that's what led to the claim of saving at least about 8 hours per week and $40,000-$50,000 per year.
So since you're automating most of the tasks that would require an expert person in that position, so savings are automatically there, because as such you would have to spend money on getting a person who would do it, right?
Exactly. And the software, if you weren't using Swell, you're paying for all these different softwares.
Yep. Now, for an agency which is relatively new, like 1 or 2 years in operation, which tasks that agency should automate right from the beginning to have better breathing space?
Follow-up emails would be a big one, so you could schedule follow-up emails to run every, for example, 3, 6, and 9, 12 months, just, hey, checking in, wanted to see how business was going. Is there anything we can help with? And you kind of open the door for new opportunities to come in. Also, it depends on whether or not you're working with an internal team or freelancers, but essentially that template and that automation mechanism will allow you to kind of leverage those relationships a little bit better, because again, you've got a standardized process. So if somebody's building a website, it would be the same process or the same end result as if I was building the website. And that's what all comes down to, the processes.
Anything specific for someone who is just a freelancer and not an agency setup and working all alone?
No, I'd say the recurring billing would be a big one, because you don't want to go chasing down invoices or waiting to collect payment. And there's a scheduling mechanism as well. So it allows people to kind of schedule time that you're available, similar to like a Calendly and Acuity. So you don't have to go in the back and forth emails, but having everything as far as a client and phone calls kind of logged on a per client or per record basis keeps you organized. So if you do hire that virtual assistant, or you're just starting out and kind of growing, Swell is going to be a really good option for you, because it's got all of those tools and features in place. But also it's very friendly to the solopreneur or teams of about 10 people or less.
And as per your experience, which specific tasks on automation saves maximum time and makes more money?
Of the follow-up on invoices that have been sent but not paid.
Okay.
That's a big one. The recurring billing. So you have the ability to save customers or clients billing information in Swell, so that the next time you bill them, you can automatically bill their billing information, or you can have it auto draft out of their account on, for example, the first of the month. That's a big one. One that I learned a little too late while I was growing the first agency.
Oh, you lost some money there, right?
Yes, there were some lost ones.
Now, a lot of production time is spent on client communication and work feedback. Like I've designed something and I'm going to ask, feedback for client, or do you like my design, etc., etc. It's basically client communication, right? Now, what are a few do's and don'ts in this regard to allow more efficient communication? Because a CRM solution won't even control these kind of things, because these would happen at a human level rather than, a bot. Oh, you send me a design, it's good, because client would want to hear more than just good or not good.
Yeah. So in our agency over the years, what we found is those kinds of requests can go on forever. And it really makes it difficult to bill your clients if you're waiting on them to approve or revise something. So there are a few things that we set up over the years in the agency. One is there's a timeline. So when we develop a website, we do it one of two ways. The first way is we're going to add a 5% financing fee and let you pay it off over the course of 12 months.
Okay.
The other way is we bill by milestone. So the first milestone is research and design. We collect 50% of the estimated price. The next milestone is developing the website, but we can't proceed with that until the website design is approved. And we bill 25% at that stage. And the last milestone are any final changes and launching the website. And that's the remaining 25%. But what we've done to kind of combat the back and forth on requests and changes is we say, okay, the design is done. You have one round of changes. It can be as many changes as you want, but just give them to us in one email or one Word document or one way. So we send them a design and we say, follow up with us when you're done adding comments on your changes. And that counts as their one revision. So we give them an opportunity in the design stage for one round of revisions and in the development stage. And that's how we've kind of combated against the back and forth. I need to change this, or I want to change that, or I'm not sure about this. And it's helped a lot as far as establishing the process.
And what about learning to say no? How and when did you start doing that in your agency?
I still do it now. When we started out, we were mainly working with a lot of smaller businesses. They didn't have a big budget. But as we've grown and we have more overhead now, we have to kind of say no to those smaller jobs. Mm-hmm. The type of individual I am, it's difficult for me to just leave somebody high and dry that I feel like I can help. So what we've started doing is establishing partner relationships with other agencies who may be able to service that smaller client still. So in that instance, we would say, I'm sorry, we're not a good fit for you, but we have this relationship with this other agency who's more in line with your size and goals.
Okay. Now let's focus on the human aspect in automation. Now, does this automation reduce the human touch in the whole process, or you balance it out with, say, constant video audio calls with your clients?
Mm-hmm. So we hold ourselves accountable for trying to meet our clients' goals. So we meet with our clients at the end of every month, sometimes more than once a month. And we do that either in person or video conference to kind of go over their goals. With how that plays into the Swell component is you've got this whole system that's pretty much automated, but it does require that my sales team goes in and reviews the proposal before it actually gets sent. So in that example I gave earlier, the lead comes in through the website, it automatically creates the proposal. My sales team will go in and just make sure that all the information looks good, the pricing looks correct, and they'll just hit send. So a proposal generally takes less than 5 minutes to turn around and send out to a client.
Okay. So you do video calls, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And the other aspect is, onboarding people to a different, platform, like how to tackle clients that are not comfortable with new CRM for various reasons. A client may be old, he doesn't want to get into it. A client says, no, I've used this one, that's better. So how do you tackle those pushbacks?
Yeah, so it's really the team that's behind the CRM. So if you look at our agency, you look at Swell as a company, me as an individual, I do a lot of volunteer work with just trying to help people grow and start businesses. Design Loud, the agency, I think one of our big value propositions in that company is the level of customer support that we provide. That is certainly the case in Swell. We were nominated for a customer support award last year from the NC Technology Association. But how we differentiate ourselves from other products is, for example, when you create an account on Swell, before you even pay us money, we're going to help you migrate your information over completely free. We're going to help you set Swell up because it's completely customizable to you. We help you set Swell up based on how you're going to do business instead of you trying to shape your business or your processes around what this CRM is capable of doing. So we put a lot of upfront investment into helping you get in and get successful with Swell before we even collect the first payment. Outside of that, we try to go for at least 30-minute response time in our customer support chat. We try to be available 24/7. So it's really that level of customer service and the fact that you have kind of an outsourced helper, helping you with your business, helping you in Swell. I think that's really what the differentiation is and how we.
And are your clients mostly local, or they're like spread all over the world with different countries?
Yeah, we're fortunate enough to say that we have clients in different countries, which has been an interesting, I feel like the US is pretty lax as far as like certain laws and regulations. So when you start branching out into these other countries or territories, you've got currency conversions, you've got privacy, you've got, there's the list goes on and on.
Big one is GDPR.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, because those things kind of resonate with our values, it wasn't that difficult for us to tie in. I mean, we're not trying to be dishonest and sell any information or, you know.
Because if you get a client from a Euro country, the first thing they will ask you, are you GDPR compliant? That's the first thing, and then they will proceed because they know they need to cover themselves up before they deal with someone outside their own thing. And so besides the clients are spread all over, what about your employee setup? Like, is it remote or do you sit all in one office? How is it?
A combination of both. So we have in the agency, we've got about 6 employees on payroll and about 7 contractors, most of them local here to Wilmington.
Okay.
But on Swell, we have about 3 employees, and then we have a few more contractors that are across the world.
Okay, now we've talked about automation and which tasks to automate, a lot of that. It saves time, it makes more money. Let's flip the scenario. Which are few agency tasks that you would never automate and keep it as it is?
That is an excellent question.
Obviously, one would be like talking to clients. That's given. You can't have a robot talking to a client. That's okay. But other than that,
I'd say the initial sales process. I think in the agency environment, people want that you're listening to them, what their problems are, and how you can really help them. And there's no real way to automate that effectively. So I think having that human touch in at the very beginning, it's fine if after you sell them, the service that they fall into this automation flow. But at the very beginning, I think establishing that authority and credibility with your clients, that's something you'll never want to automate. That would be one example. And then I'm sure there are several more I could think of, but yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, even I can't think of that answer besides, of course, talking to clients. But I guess technical part of project, you can automate any, you can in fact automate all the steps, technical parts of, the project thing. But the only thing you cannot automate would be the interaction with clients, because if a client sends you an email, you got to reply it like a human is typing. It can't be a robot typing, right?
Precisely. Yes.
Okay. Now, obviously, you also, deal and interact with other smaller agencies. So I guess Swell is also an upsell for you to those agencies as a CRM solution that those agencies can use, right?
Yeah. So Swell actually has an interesting go-to-market strategy. Is because it was built and designed specifically for agencies like development design or marketing agencies. We're able to get them in, use the agencies as a beachfront market, right? To get our first customers in Swell, our first channel of customers. But as an agency, you're able to resell Swell to your clients. You can get a commission from reselling Swell. You can brand it to be your own base. That helps us prove our next product market fit. It also helps you as an agency because now your value proposition may say, hey, not only can we design and build this great website and help you market it, but we've got this complete back-end system that we can feed all those leads and everything into and help you set up processes to keep up with everything. So You're really kind of opening up your services.
Okay, now why Swell? There's so many other CRMs. Like I'm gonna put you a little under the bus here. Like,
sure.
I've been into this, design development agency life almost 10, 12 years now, and I've used all kinds of CRMs because I work mostly with other agencies rather than my own agencies because that's my comfort zone. So I tend to use CRMs that other agencies use. So I know I started with Basecamp, went to Teamwork, and then went to Asana. And I personally don't use any CRM because I don't have too many clients to handle. Like I only do few clients and most of them are agency clients, which obviously I get tied in their CRM because when you're interacting with them. And now these are like Basecamp, Teamwork, Asana. These are like old horses here. There are new ones as well, like there's Plutio, there's ClickUp. There are few more. So why Swell? Why not any of this?
Yeah. One, I think it's the team behind it. 2 is what you'll find with a lot of these other platforms is I gotta think of a good way to say this.
You gotta sell it now.
No, well, there's a level of, I'll say upgrades, right? Is the cleanest way I can say it. They want you to upgrade. I mean, they make money on, you need this feature. Oh, you got to pay extra for it. You've got 3 more users to add. Oh, you've got to pay extra for it.
Yeah, it's per user
That's not,
pricing mostly for all the CRMs.
yeah, and that's not why we built Swell. We wanted to essentially give small and micro business owners the same enterprise style tools that the big boys have, but at a fraction of the cost. So there's very little opportunities for us to upsell you within the application. All the features you see on our website are included in the base cost. You know, how we do our pricing instead of per user is user packs, you know, so you've got up to 3 users, up to 10 users, 20, 30. There's no guessing to, oh, I need this feature, I'm going to have to pay this much extra. That's going to eat away at this much more in my bottom line. So it's pricing, it's team. I would definitely say it's the integrated feature set. You said you use Basecamp. They've got a very similar story where the founder had an agency, had a pain, solved it with developing Basecamp. Plutio's the same way. I follow Plutio a little bit. Leo seems like a really good guy, very similar.
With the Basecamp stories, when Basecamp went from Basecamp 2 to Basecamp 3, they just blew up the things.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's where I think we're a little bit different is we're not trying to suck all the money out of a small business because we've lived it. We know how hard it is to grow a small business. And the last thing we want to have you thinking about is additional expenses that are eating away at your bottom line. We want to help be responsible for getting you to point B and growing your company. In addition to that, answering your question, I think with Swell, because of our big integrated feature set, you can really build a turnkey operation. You said you use Asana, and Asana just does project management, but it won't touch the billing part of it. Yeah. So you're going to need something else. So when you have this integrated system that you're running your business through, let's say I pick up my business and I'm going to sell it today, all I really have to do is give the login to Swell. You know, it's got my client list, all the client history, all our account receivables, our income, our profit loss, everything, projects currently in progress. I mean, it's a turnkey operation.
Okay, you did really well. So let's summarize. So agency owner, very small agency owner, not a big shot person, because if someone who is running a big shot agency, they already have the system figured out. So a small agency owner listening to this and thinking, oh man, I don't have automation in my, agency setup. So what are the first few things that you will suggest that person obviously get onto the Swell platform, but in terms of, technical stuff, like what are the main things you would suggest that person to automate just quickly to get started, save time, make more money? Obviously one would be recurring billing. What else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think templates is a big first step. If you can get in and start building out or selecting the templates you want to use, your email, your proposal templates, etc., that's going to make you much more successful when you go into creating the workflow automation, because everything's pretty much based on those templates that you create. So the second step would be creating the workflow automation. And at some point there, probably in the very beginning, you'd want us to migrate your information into Swell. And we'll do that completely free, but we'll migrate your information in so you can kind of see what a fully set up Swell looks like. And it's a lot easier for you to kind of play around with and get a sense of within your 14-day trial.
Curious, do you have like pre-made proposal templates for different types of industries or businesses?
We do. So we're going to be launching a marketplace soon. That allows our users to share their templates that they create. They can either share it for free or charge a fee for it. But we also will have a set of free templates that we've kind of built out that will enable you to kind of use some of those pre-selected templates per industry.
And as far as the money handling, like if I'm using Swell and I'm sending a proposal, like I'm sending an invoice to a client, that money would directly go into the payment gateway that I've linked, like Stripe or PayPal, or do you also handle money on their behalf? Like you have your own transaction gateway or something?
No, we just integrate with Stripe, PayPal, Authorize.net, and there are a couple other ones that we're working on at the moment. So those are the 3 big ones that we integrate with. We don't want to get into money handling, especially for international.
Yeah, because it can be really complex.
Yeah,
And
yeah, we're not there yet.
I guess you all also have email sending and marketing thing done into it.
Yes, we do have that. So when you send an email from Swell, you can schedule it to go out on a certain day at a certain time. You can see when they've been opened and clicked. The email marketing, you can also build these email templates. You can create drip campaigns. And then there's also a text message marketing. So if your clients or customers are younger and they prefer to communicate via text, you can do automated SMS text message marketing.
And that's inbuilt within the price of Swell, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Now you're talking real things. So,
Yeah.
okay. Now let's switch gears and talk about your toolbox. So what are your current 5 favorite tools that power your online business?
For me personally,
Other than Swell.
Okay. Let's see. I've still not completely moved away from DocuSign, although this past weekend we just launched the similar version of that within Swell. It's the contract module.
So when you're sending a proposal, a client can digitally sign it, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay, cool.
And that's now available. So DocuSign had been one of my favorite ones. I'm a big G Suite user. I like G Suite. So I still utilize, even though we have file system in Swell, I still use Google Drive for that. And we just integrate our Google Drive into Swell so we can see it there. G Suite, from an agency standpoint, SEMrush. Love SEMrush. That's marketing research, data. Still love WordPress. I teach the monthly WordPress meetup every month here in Wilmington, and I've done the WordCamp here in Wilmington for the last few years.
Okay.
Let's see, what else is there?
Still love Gutenberg.
I've got to be completely honest here. I've transitioned into these page builders, which is a whole nother topic. But out of all the page builders available out there, Beaver Builder is one of my favorites. And the reason being is because when you deactivate Beaver Builder, you don't have a mess of short codes left behind. Beaver Builder is very clean, minified information. And from an agency, because we used to build the custom websites, the custom theme, it would take 20, 30 hours. With Beaver Builder, we can knock out like a custom design theme within a day, 8 hours. So from an operations standpoint, we're still kind of charging the same price as a custom site, but we're able to knock it out a lot faster.
Yeah, I am Beaver Builder addict ever since it came out. And guess what? A shameless plug here. I run one of the best resource website for Beaver Builder users called Pro Beaver. Not me. I'm not calling it best. People call it, so I'm just telling you.
That is awesome to know. I'll have to check it out.
And it's simple, probeaver.com.
Very nice. I'm going to look that up when we get off here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love Beaver Builder myself, but there are other page builders as well. With page builders, all actually do the same thing. It's all about the UI and your familiarity. And I like the simplicity of Beaver Builder and not the fanciness which other page builders provide.
I completely agree.
And it's solid. It doesn't break on the next update. It has been real solid even today. After using it for so many years on so many websites, fortunately, I never had too many problems with it.
Yeah, same here. Same experience.
Okay, so in your agency, do you also host your client websites or you send them?
Yes.
So which is your favorite web hosting service?
Oh, so we started this is 2011. We started with HostGator's reseller.
Oh man.
That's when they were good.
Gator.
It got really nasty there for a while with HostGator. So we transitioned everything into DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean is kind of like a counterpart of Amazon Web Services. I believe it's more of a fixed cost for us, but it's still, you get a dedicated server. We'll use Let's Encrypt to generate a free SSL certificate. It comes in our hosting plans, and we run that all through Cloudflare for free. So that gives us the website firewall. So I'm kind of giving away some key information here, but our setup is we charge our clients X dollars per month or X dollars per year. That gets you a dedicated server, a free SSL certificate, and website firewall and security managed by Cloudflare. And then we set up Updraft Plus or a similar backup plugin to automatically create backups every week. And so it's like we're giving a lot away in our hosting package that makes it look really appealing for the price.
And your DigitalOcean setup, is it direct, or you use something like Cloudways to set it up?
We use Laravel Forge. We've really fallen in love with Laravel. Laravel Forge is kind of the middleman between DigitalOcean and having some sort of a UI. So it makes it really easy to spin up a server, install WordPress, set up Let's Encrypt, renew the Let's Encrypt certificate, etc.
Okay, so my next question was recommended page builder. Well, you already answered it, Beaver Builder. No,
Yes.
you don't like the shine of other page builders. I won't name them, but that's understandable now. So the next question to this next question is, which is your recommended email marketing service if you use one?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really bad about using email marketing in both companies. We offer it as a service, but before we had that ability in Swell, it was MailChimp. It was just super easy. We had tried Aweber. We had tried a few other ones. MailChimp at the time was just super easy, and it worked. It had really good reporting as well.
Yeah, MailChimp does few things, but whatever it does in a more solid manner.
Correct. Yeah.
But now even they have fluttered their wings. They've added all kinds of fancy features and twisted their pricing plans. They went into an overhaul recently, and they did all the UI changes. And some people said, we are going out of this MailChimp. Some people say, oh, it's good. Now you've added more features. So you have people on both the sides to fight and take out their swords out. Anyways, so the last question, which is your upcoming tool or service that has caught your attention recently? You may want to use it. You like it?
I've been learning a lot about SKAG, single keyword ad groups, from a paid advertising standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm researching different softwares or platforms that help with that. Octio is a really good one for Google AdWords or ads management. And then I've got a few friends out there I'd like to plug who are in an agency sphere who have some agency resource tools. And that is Cliff with My Web Audit. It does instant web audits of your clients' websites,
Mm-hmm.
lays it out in a beautiful presentation, and gives them like scores. And then James with Content Snare. It makes it really easy to get and collect content from get your content from your friends or your clients and customers.
Awesome. So before we wrap this episode, where can people find you?
Yeah, feel free to reach out on our website, swellsystem.com. You can reach out on social media. I believe it's at Swell Systems. Or if you know how to track me down, I mean, you can. I'm happy to answer any questions, email, phone, whatever the case is. Website's probably the best.
Okay, man. So any final shout out to someone who doesn't believe in automation and you want to convince that person, hey, come on the automation bandwagon, save money?
No, I mean, if you don't believe in it, I don't want to spend time trying to convince anybody. More than that, I think I didn't know a lot of the things to do at the very beginning that I learned way too late, like the systems and the processes, and just being persistent. Just everything you do every single day, just try pushing that ball up the hill. So my last words would be just don't give up, stay strong, and build a smarter later business.
Awesome. Okay, Derek, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
You enjoyed talking about automation with the human touch.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, take care.